Hi, my name is Mary Spender, and you are watching
Tuesday Talks! Woo!
And this is Phil X.
Tuesday Talks. Okay. I'll do. Yeah.
Right? To see you rock out and play the way you play live in such an intimate setting was also awesome.
Well, I believe if it's 50,000 people like last Saturday in Sao Paulo with Bon Jovi, or 28 people at the music hall in Mark Nui Cushion, it's always give it your best, give it your all, give it
absolutely
100%,
yeah.
120%.
Because you broached on the subject, can we talk about Bon Jovi?
Anything you want to talk about?
Because that is absolutely insane and must be incredible. And I've seen the gig rig rundown.
Wow, yes. A lot of guitars.
I'm very lucky to be playing.
Oh yeah, this
signature.
is I call it on the tour. I mean, I've always played this guitar, but on the tour, it's the This House Is Not For Sale guitar. It's the opening song guitar of the show because it's tuned to 440, and every other song is in E flat.
Wow.
Or on a baritone or something like that. But the funny thing is that this guitar loves 440. It loves it. Like the green guitar that a lot of people talk about, that loves E flat.
Nice.
So I take this when I'm gonna go play in 440.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little tech talk right there for you.
How did it come about? Can you just... How do you get approached?
440? I don't know. I wasn't there.
No, not 440.
Okay.
The Bon Jovi gig.
Well,
Tell us the story.
It's a very Cinderella type situation, mixed with since the beginning of time, the show must go on value.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a band in trouble and they need a guy, and they called me. Why they called me was John Shanks, the producer who produced a whole bunch of Bon Jovi records before, since Have a Nice Day, I believe. And at the time, everything happens with the timeline, and the timeline in this case is John Shanks starts watching a bunch of my videos on YouTube, and then I ran into him at a studio in Henson in Hollywood, and he just came up and he goes, "You're a funny motherfucker." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "I couldn't stop watching your videos last night, and it sounds like you can play and sing anything."
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, that's kind of cool, because, you've done some amazing things in your career, so thank you. And then, so that was the beginning of our friendship. But 2 weeks later, he called me and he said, "Hey, I think I have a gig for you, but I can't tell you what it is. Can you come by my studio tomorrow?" Like, he couldn't tell me on the phone, sorry. And I was like, well, that's... Sure. And I show up, and he's like, "This is what it is, and you're going to be on hold, so they need you to learn the show." Wait, I go, "What? No audition? No nothing?" He goes, "No, you get the gig, and you have to learn a 2.5 hour show and be ready to go at the drop of a dime, or you might not get called at all." Like, done, okay, I guess. And it's an awkward thing, because I personally have an issue with filling in for a guy who's been there from the beginning and co-wrote all the hits and has a big part of the sound and the writing and all that stuff. So I have an issue with that in my life anyways. But if the show must go on and you gotta have somebody, I'll be that guy.
Yeah.
So, and that's basically how it happened.
That's incredible. And so when did you get called up for the first time?
Well, it's a funny thing. It's odd to me because it was simply, besides John Shanks, it was lawyers and managers and agreements and statement of confidentiality, because nobody can know.
Yeah.
It was April 14, 2011. I got a call from New York, unknown number, didn't answer it. Mm-hmm. And then, I get up, check the message. "Hey Phil, it's John Bon Jovi, please call me." I'm like, what the? This is happening now? And then, and that was 2011, the first time. So I called John and we talked, and he said, "Hey, I'd like to fly you to New York to rehearse with the band for a couple of days and put you on hold for May." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, I'm on hold for May." Mm-hmm. Well, at least I'll get paid for 2 days. And then, but ironically enough, when I flew to New York, Richie checked into rehab. So it went from, we have a show in 3 days in New Orleans at the Jazz Fest in front of 50,000 people, and you're going to probably be doing that. And I'm like, okay, so that was the first show, and then I did another 12 shows, and then Richie came back. So I felt like it really, with Richie coming back, it just felt right.
Yeah.
Like, fine, the band needed help. I did 13 shows. Richie's back. All is the way it should be.
Mm-hmm.
And that felt fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 years later is when I got the call that was, we need you tonight. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, I haven't played a song by you guys in 2 years.
Right.
And, well, you're the guy, so come and do it. And I missed the first night in Calgary because there was a jet issue. And then there was a fast jet that I was going to take and would have made the show, but that was broken. So they put me on another jet that was slower, so it landed. I jumped out of the van, and it was, thank you, good night. And I was kind of relieved because, you know, they're like, as soon as you get there, you got to jump on stage. I'm like, what are we talking about
So
here?
what did they do?
Oh, well, they have a utility, Bobby Bandiera, who's amazing, great
Mm-hmm.
singer, great player. He's been the utility guy, auxiliary guitar parts and vocals since 2006.
Mm-hmm.
So that night when Richie didn't show up, it was John. John had to play guitar all night, which he's not crazy about because he likes to front the band. But it was John and Bobby splitting up the parts and Bobby doing all the Richie solos and stuff like that. So they made it to the show. But the next day, you know, which was perfect for me because you get to do a lengthy sound check. What songs do you want to run? Because you're on tonight. And
Yeah.
I was, okay, I want to do this and this and this and this and this and this. Okay, now I feel ready. And then bang, 20,000 people in an arena. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But you describing it as a Cinderella story is also like,
Well, it's
really magical.
Funny. It is a magical moment. Like walking on stage, and I still, I mean, because I grew up listening to Slippery When Wet and New Jersey. Bought tickets to the New Jersey tour when I lived in Toronto, to the to the CNE grandstand, which isn't there anymore.
Mm.
So the history, and me being completely blown away by the band and the songs, and holy shit. And then if somebody would have said, hey, in 30 years it's going to be you up there, I would have said, fuck you. Don't pull my chain like that. But, you know, it happened. And then on top of that, even after 100, I've done 140 shows, and I still get goosebumps when I play Living on a Prayer. I truly believe it's one of the best rock songs ever written. It's up there in the top 5, top 10, top 3.
I just can't imagine the feeling because I've played that song in cover bands.
Yeah.
And, you know, like everyone has. Everyone plays that song because it's such a crowd pleaser.
It
and
really
then
is.
to be the one, because you're there like, and then you're doing the...
Yeah, the talk box.
Yeah.
I do the talk box. And
Like,
my arm hair stand up.
Oh, God. I can't imagine that
Yeah.
feeling because that's the song. That's like...
It really, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Of generations.
And to be playing it with the band, that must be...
It's pretty remarkable. And it's funny because I had the first time I went in 2011, still backtracking a little bit, I had a friend come up to me, and a really good friend named George. And he walked up to me and he said, you know what, man? You getting the Bon Jovi gig was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I'm like, what does that mean exactly? He goes, it made me think that anything's possible. You work hard, you bust your ass, and good things happen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, you're totally right.
And I think the idea that he saw you through the videos, that's just also incredible because, you know, for me, making these videos and, you know, putting yourself out there and just suddenly realizing that anyone could be watching.
Yeah, exactly.
And anyone could find you.
But even as a
because
guitar...
of it being global.
Even as a guitar fan, like I've had people that I grew up listening to, other people, guitar players, guys in bands that I loved, come up to me and tell me that they love my videos. And I talk to some of these guys, like this is an amazing community of YouTubers. It really is a fantastic thing that's happening at GitCon. And talking to these guys, I was talking to a guy at breakfast this morning, Because, yeah, we have breakfast together. And we're talking, and he's like, I could name 10 YouTube shows that are modeled after what you did with Fred Americana. And I'm like, I seldom watch these.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to, because I think everybody's so cool, you know? But I feel like we didn't have that goal. We didn't have a goal to pursue the numbers of clicks and followers and viewers and all that stuff. Our goal was just, let's have fun, you know, playing these guitars.
Well, I actually think for the most part in the community here, I don't think anyone really thought about it. No one really thought it through. No one thought that they would be at this sort of thing because of what they had done.
Yeah.
Like, I this time last year, I had a very, very, very small following. And I just, because it hadn't worked, and it hadn't worked, and I was just like, oh, well, what's the worst that could happen?
Right. But as it grows, you get recognized.
Yeah.
As people go, hey, you're that girl.
Yeah.
Right? So it's an amazing thing, because you're right, it's worldwide, and you never know where your demographic is.
Yeah.
You really don't. I'm sorry, it sounds like I have a shaker.
That's all right.
Jingle bells.
So last night on the live stream, someone...
Hey, thanks for taking over the moderation.
That's all right, I
we
really
needed
enjoyed
a different angle at that.
Oh, poor Henning. The story about your fangirl moment.
Yes. But can we call it a fanboy moment?
Fanboy moment, sorry. It's if I fangirl over someone, that's legitimate. Yes. You fanboyed over...
Well, maybe I fangirled a little bit.
You were in awe of walking into a studio for, Chris Cornell.
Yeah.
And if you wouldn't mind, would you tell that story again? Because it was amazing. Yeah,
it's... and thank you for saying it's amazing. But, I mean, when you have a chance to record, like, I mean, I was a Motley Crue fan when I recorded with Tommy Lee. I was a Rob Zombie fan when I recorded with him. And you meet a lot of your heroes, and before you know it, you're playing with these guys, or even a drummer, Abe Laboriel Jr. I saw him play with the American Music Awards with Paul McCartney, and I saw him play, and I watched him, and I was like, and then he pulled a mic over, and not only does it look like cymbals are falling over, but he pulls a mic over and starts singing a background vocal to Helter Skelter, and I was completely, who is this guy? And then I called my drummer friends, who's playing with Paul McCartney? Oh, it's Abe Laboriel Jr. And then you get it in your head, I'm going to play with that guy. And 2 weeks later, I get a call. Hey, we're doing a session. Are you available next Thursday? It's going to be you, Paul Bushnell on bass, and Abe Laboriel Jr. on drums. And I totally felt like I just created that. I need to harness that power. You know what I mean?
Secret, yeah.
I totally made it happen with a positive attitude and excitement. And there it is. So I always wanted to play with Chris Cornell. I always wanted to, like, maybe not in a live situation, but to record a track or something. And he did an entire record with Timbaland. I'm going to embellish a little bit because we're not sitting on a panel.
Yeah.
But I'll try to still keep it short, though. And I always felt like he's one guy that his voice is so powerful and emotive and, oh my God, incredible. It would be great to record a track with him. And then that happened. I got the same phone call where it was, hey, we're doing a Chris Cornell track on Sunday, and so I need to book you to do drums with Josh Freese on Sunday, and then on Monday you'll do guitars. And I was like, okay. So 2 days. But again, like I mentioned last night, Sunday we're tracking drums, he didn't come. Monday I tracked guitars all day, he did not come. And it's funny, and it's also sad, when he passed, I threw that track on so I could listen to my guitar and his voice together. And it was an emotional thing. And you're getting emotional too.
I am. That just...
it's kind of mind-blowing. And I thought, oh my God, even the opening 4 bars leading to his voice, I really created a magical landscape to introduce his voice. And I swallowed that feeling of something incredible happened, you know? So I'm done. I go home, the phone rings. Hey, can you come back tomorrow at, it's Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. Chris wants to be here when you do the solo. And now I can't catch my breath. you know? So I come in and I walk into the studio and Chris is sitting on the couch, and that's enough of a fangirl moment where you're like, right? So, and he's also sung the song. So I'm listening to his voice, my guitars, and his voice in the near field speakers, just plugging in and tuning to lay down a solo. And that in itself, again, mind blowing, right? So then I just go, oh my God, it's Chris Cornell. He's on the couch. How do you break the ice with a guy like this, right? A hero. How do you break the ice? So I'm thinking, okay, just be yourself. It'll happen. And seriously, this really went down. Like when I get into the studio and you see me how I solo on stage in front of people, that's what I do in the studio. I'm playing from here and I'm letting it come out, and it comes out physically as well as sonically. And so I'm going and I'm rocking out. And I look over at, they press stop after the solo, and I go, how was that? And he goes, it was great, but I think you need a little more gain. And I go, but it looked good, right? And he laughed. And I thought, I broke the ice! Yay me!
Amazing.
It was an incredible moment. It really was.
Well, I think the title of this video is going to be "Phil X Makes Me Cry." Like
Wow.
that was yeah, because obviously I think when he passed away,
I was heartbroken.
like, well, and you had the experience and you met him and you knew him, whereas me and so many other guitarists and oh God, it was just emotional. It was just sad. It was just really, really sad.
It really was.
And you just don't expect it to happen in the way that it did.
Exactly.
And it was such a shock.
When you think about the family thing and the wife and the kids, and
I know.
just I can't fathom.
It's just absolutely heartbreaking. So let's try and
move
cheer
on.
us up
All right.
by jamming a little, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, let's do it.
I can't believe I'm playing this guitar as well. It's
Oh,
pretty
you're
cool.
playing my Framus.
Framus.
I'm playing
Framus. We're
this
in the
purple
Framus factory,
Panthera 2 Supreme,
which is stunning.
and Mary is playing my XG.
Yeah.
The one that I played in Barcelona in front of 50,000 people with these strings on it
So
last Saturday. There's sweat on it, I'm telling you right now.
Amazing. Well, thank you for letting me play this.
Well, thank you for playing it.
But all right. Thank you for watching this Tuesday Talks. Thank you so much for joining.
Tuesday Talks! Woo!
Let's rock out a little bit.
Thank you.